everybody, and welcome back to Rebooked. It is Thursday. What that means, it is time to talk a little TNA wrestling. And ladies and gentlemen, it was a busy weekend for TNA, not just on TNA programming. Of course, I mean, the elephant in the room is there is a new TNA champion. And they do not work for TNA Wrestling. We will dive into it, though, because I'm not alone. I'm not alone. Of course, I am the Drama King, but I've got my lovely associates, the goldenest boy, G, the Bizzle, and the jolliest Jake, the J Bizzle.
Ooh, the turn into the camera. Damn, hold on.
Oh, too soon.
Wasn't ready
too
for
soon
that
to
one.
do a turn. We just lost him. You know what I mean?
Look, may he rest in peace.
Yeah, I mean, yeah,
Wade Boggs is very much alive.
Wade Boggs, Carpet World.
Another 30 Rock reference.
Yeah. I'm gonna get one in on every episode.
I gotta watch 30 Rock.
Yeah. But yeah, so I mean, ladies and gentlemen, again, we did have a busy weekend, just really quick, because again, we really have one big headline to talk about. But TNA did have Under Siege, which what's the word? Preceded. That was the word.
Yeah,
preceded NXT Battleground on Sunday. That was on Friday, was Under Siege. I mean, Joe Hendry and Trick Williams, we talked about it. We thought that maybe the heels would go up because we all thought maybe Joe Hendry would still be TNA champion out of Battleground. It was not to be. So if you followed the old wrestling rule, maybe you could have seen this coming, because Joe Hendry and his partner in crime, Elijah, did beat Trick Williams and Frankie Kazarian in the main event of Under Siege. So by that wrestling property, you could have maybe seen what was going to happen. On the tag team titles were on the line as well. The Nemesis, no surprise, successfully defended against Matt Hardy and Leon Slater because Jeff couldn't travel. Masha Slammers retained nothing. All the titles stayed where they were. You know what I mean? There were some really good matches, but guys, we gotta turn our attention to then what ultimately did happen on Sunday, NXT Battleground. Whew! Trick Williams got the TNA World Championship. The first time ever a TNA championship was defended on a WWE program, or on the WWE PLE, I guess I should say. And it was the main event, which was pretty damn cool. Pictures of Shawn Michaels holding it earlier in the day, a video package narrated by AJ Styles,
which was cool. That was awesome.
Of previous TNA World Championships. That was very cool. And it made event to the show, and Trick Williams, boys, is the TNA World Champion. Holy crap. That is a huge change. It's a huge history-making kind of result and moment. And so, frick.
Yeah.
I just want to get your, I mean, I was there. Look.
Yeah. How are you feeling?
We've said this on commentary a dozen times. Like, somebody's going to be the first, because we've had numerous title defenses in either direction.
Yeah.
On each other's shows. No movement. So, except obviously WWE title will be dependent on a PLE, but there's been some stuff where they've gone and done it on NXT, and then they've come over to us and try and defend it, and like X Division title's been on the line here and there and all that stuff. But it's never no movement.
Yeah.
We knew it was going to happen eventually. TNA guy, I always hoped it would be TNA taking a WWE title.
Yeah.
As unlikely as that might be. I don't know. I always hope maybe they try to push that button, but while there's the initial shock there, I think it's a good thing.
Okay.
I think it will push more stories forward than if it would have just stayed on Joe Hendry. And much like we talked about Will Ospreay and Hangman in our AEW episode of like, hey, Will wins a lot and like he's the guy. And of course he's the guy. He's going to be and is one of the guys. Joe is that guy. Joe is the guy, but sometimes you need to have your legs cut and then to have you come back, because Joe's been on top of the world for like a year now. He's been champion only for about 6 months, but he's been a focal point of TNA for a year, with all his viral, sensationness.
Yeah.
So anyway, I've talked I want to get your guys' initial reactions to how you saw this and when you heard it, et cetera, et cetera.
I'll go first because mine is fairly quick. Not fairly quick in that it's very much in line with what you said, Matt. The only place where I kind of struggle with is actually no. Let me rephrase that. Not even a struggle. My worry was what is being done for TNA. Right. That was my thing because I care about TNA. I've watched TNA for years. You work there. Like I care about the company and been following it for a long time. That being said, my worry was what is WWE doing to help out? And I think we got our answer, and it's an answer that I am very, very enthusiastic about. And it is Mike Santana getting a lot of playtime on WWE TV. He will be debuting on NXT as of the recording tonight, which is great for him. Mike Santana has never been in WWE. So unlike Joe Hendry, who was very much introduced to the audience, I think, due to his virality, as you'd mentioned. Mike Santana has an opportunity to actually really tell his story, which is an incredible story. And he's an organic babyface and a guy that you very much want to get behind. So I think that that's the silver lining for me. Is that you're seeing like where that and it's very clearly leading to Trick versus Mike. Does that mean Trick beats or Mike beats Trick? I don't know. I would hope so, but I don't know. And I also want to see what they do with Trick with the title. I like the idea of Trick not showing up to TNA and people being mad about that. I like that idea, and it kind of ties in nicely, but I know that will really ruffle some feathers. So that's really where I'm at, Jake, is more like I'm curious how they play this, and I'm still shocked that they did it.
I am honestly very shocked by that as well. And let's also talk about the fact, and Matt even pointed out, of the the beautiful meme that could come from the look of the TNA president at the end of Battleground.
Good on it. Look, and I'm going to give a shout out to him or whatever. That's Carlos Silva, who has been very prudent as the kind of new president of TNA. He was in communication with the team that day, had no idea, like that last minute, they're like, hey, we're going to put you in the crowd and put you on camera. Like if you're okay with that and everything. And he was like, cool. I'm like, more representation for the company and everything. And so obviously he was part of the plans and part of this whole process. Sure. So I just give him a lot of credit for playing along at the end of the show with that just scowl on it, just that goddamn it look. Like what a look. And it's not over the top. Like look, he's not an actor. So I'll give Carlos some bones there. Like,
he did a great job of just. That's a great. Oh,
you know what I mean?
Face.
Just like that.
I do want to know if that is an actual TNA wrestling hat.
I think he had it made when he got the job, like, because it's not our logo. I've always said that. I'm like, wait, I don't know.
It looks like he's part of the FBI or something.
Yeah, that was my thing. I was like, I don't remember seeing that hat at merch. But now you got to sell it. I thought that was like a really cool moment there. It does feel a little weird though.
I think it shows more collaboration between the two, and I think that's a good thing. I am very shocked that they pulled the trigger on having Trick win the TNA championship. I would love to know how that happened. Like, I would love to be a fly on the wall during that discussion of like, who brought that up first? Did WWE bring it up first, or did TNA bring it up first? That's the kind of that's kind of an interesting thing to me. Not what we're here to talk about, though. However, I thought it was so good, and I think it continues to play up this feel of like it kind of feels like an invasion angle. All of this, it feeds into the fact that Robert Stone is there causing problems. Now it seems like Santino wants to get involved with him somehow. You know, Trick just won the TNA championship at an NXT event in the main event.
Yeah.
So where does that lead? Where does that leave
Here's-
him? Where does
here's
that
my
leave the
thing.
title? I mean, there's just so many fun things, and it kind of, it feels like a fun invasion angle, except
It does.
it's different of like, where it feels like, no, the big guy's coming in here to pick on the little guy and tell him how to do
that's
things.
my
and
kind of
maybe
fear.
we see it.
Because that's
but
how
I
it
think it's
feels
so
a
that-
bit right now.
And I think it's fine if it's being done in an effort to build up TNA.
Yes.
Because you can do it in a way that obviously that just like belittles TNA and makes them, you know, look shitty and we've come and won all your titles and we'll drop them now because we don't feel like being around. But instead, it seems like they can and possibly are, especially with, like you said, with Santana in the mix.
Yeah.
It really feels like they're trying to give them some like proper attention and like and some exposure and to do some builds, because at first I think it, like when they announced this partnership, it all just was, it seemed like fun, just like, hey, let's do this together and we'll send some people and you send some people and we'll fight and blah blah blah. But now there has to be collaboration in the storytelling.
Yeah.
Because it can't just be a guy wins a title in another company and that's just kind of, you know, that's it. We're not going to Mercedes Monet this thing where we don't ever, like, nothing happens with these titles. She just has it now.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So it's going to be fun and interesting to see how these two organizations decide to work together and tell stories together. It can either go really well where they can have a lot of fun with it, or it can go the way we've seen other collaborations go in the past. But
This is still weird. It's still crazy to see
Wild.
Trick Williams. He's just here on the TNA website, you know,
Mhm.
just there. Like that's just cool. And it's stuff like that. That's dope.
him winning it means he's going to have to lose it.
Yeah.
He's not holding this forever. So whoever you build, and as much as I love him, I don't think it needs to be Hendry.
I don't think it should be Hendry.
You have the opportunity to have like Mike Santana come in here, get a huge audience behind him, see what he can do, have a great story and a great program with Trick, and then get the title back over into TNA. And I think everyone can benefit from that.
Yeah,
if it's done right.
I think my bit that I agree with you on you know how they play this, and I even think that there's a really cool story with Joe Hendry here that should be explored, because every single time Joe Hendry has had an opportunity to cross over to the other side or do something, he has failed, he has lost, it has not gone his way. You could use that. You could play off of that. Like you could look at it as, oh, hey, Joe Hendry, like we had talked about before, like, oh, this moment of WrestleMania was great, but it was great for Joe Hendry, not great for TNA. Same thing here, right? Like this was a great moment. This Joe Hendry did not, like, I mean, and again, where you can look at it from the dirt sheet outsider perspective, or you could look at it from the narrative, like, hey, there's a cool story here of every single time Joe Hendry's had that opportunity to represent TNA, he has failed. He lost the match, or he lost the Royal Rumble, or he got eliminated quickly, or he was always just viewed as like a meme or something like that. And you can use that to tell a really cool story and maybe even add a new layer to Joe Hendry's character that hasn't really been explored yet. Because I will say, one of the things that really stuck out to me in the Battleground match was when Trick came out, it felt like it was this, like, he was there to like do a thing, to like make history. And you felt this energy of like, he wanted to win. He was angry. Even when you look at some of the pictures here, this is the shot, right? Like when he's doing his thing, right? Trick has this menacing look about him in the background, right? Like very, very much like playing into this, like, yeah, I'm going to ruin your day, right? Cause I got your number. And then Joe kind of just came out and was like, oh, it's laughs and smiles and we do the waves and we do all the Joe Hendry stuff because it's fun. But when he needed to represent TNA at its most dire moment, he failed. That's a cool story. Give me that shit.
Could be.
You know, give
Could be.
me something unique there. Because that justifies like Frankie Kazarian, right? And like how he felt like
who tweeted about it and was like, "Well, thanks a lot, asshole.
Yeah,
you just lost the title to someone who's not in the company."
Yeah.
That adds more fuel to that fire.
And then I'm gonna add one more little thing here, okay? Because I think this could be very, very cool. I want to see now TNA do the same thing, but I want TNA to win a belt, and I think I know who the guy should be and what the match should be. Should be Leon Slater winning the NXT North American Championship off of Ricky Saints. And then I think that there's an even cooler story there where Ricky Saints could be like, I came here, blah, 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 and I get screwed. I have to fight this guy, not even in my own like, you know, like he can lean into what directions they want to go through there. But I think there's something really cool. And Leon Slater, as the future of TNA, should definitely be the guy who is given some kind of nod in any which direction. Yeah. I don't think WWE would do it, but I think that would be really, really cool. It shouldn't just be like Mike Santana or whomever it is beating Trick for the title. There should be something else there. There should be a little bit more. We've unsealed it, right? Pandora's box is open. So let's see what else we can do. That's my interpretation.
We're waiting for the first shot in the salvo. This was it. And so I think the door is open even more now, because I think the first part of this partnership was kind of like a little feeling out. Let's see how this goes. I think everybody's happy with how it's going generally. So it's like, all right, let's make a big move. And now it's like, okay, this is going. So I do think we could see moves in the other direction. But I mean, this is a story that works, to be fair, right? The way it is right now. And like what you said, GB, to be fair, at the beginning, depending on how it gets played out, yeah, you could probably expect to not see Trick Williams show up on Impact. Yeah. At first, at least, right? Because that's a classic story. He's big leaguing, right? Mm-hmm. I'm just gonna stay where I'm at. Like you want to pay me to defend on pay-per-view or something like that. And he kind of plays his heel Roman Reigns card, right? And it puts more pressure
on Santino.
Yeah.
You know, it puts a lot of pressure on Santino, which is again, you know,
because you know who's going to be able to get Trick Williams to show up on NXT TV, or sorry, on TNA TV. Robert Stone,
potentially,
which actually could be pretty cool. I would like to see that kind of tie in there a bit more. But man, I really, and it was a good match as well. It was a very
yes,
and
it was a good match.
Joe was taken care of, I think, in a good way going into it. I mean, there was an eye rake. He got dropped on the title and then hit with a finish.
Yeah.
Like he got a 1, 2, 3. Like it wasn't just like rolled you up. 1, 2, 3. Sorry.
Yeah.
We're just finished.
And even the way that they did that with the drop onto the belt where he face planted him, that was really, really well done. That whole sequence, you couldn't have asked for it to have ended up any better than
truly.
With the spacing where Joe was, how Trick threw him up, and then Joe was just perfectly landing right on it. Everyone knew exactly what was happening the moment that happened too. Like he hits it, you hear the crowd go like that, and everyone just thought, "Oh, this is it. It's over." And it was. Yeah. What's next, Matt? Tell us what's coming up.
You know what? This one you gotta watch. You gotta watch TNA Impact tonight if you're seeing this when it drops. I know. No, look, it's a little bit behind the curtain. Like it's a really tough thing. And we're still taking it because the world knows we film episodes ahead of time. So we filmed episodes this weekend. So we had to get creative things, and things still might be changing to try to adapt to what happened on Sunday and everything. So like, even I don't know what the episode's going to look like. I know some of the stuff we shot for it.
Yeah.
But like, I don't know if that's going to be rearranged or if they're going to add something in. Like there's a lot of business going down in the editing bay and then TNA headquarters and all that stuff of like where we go. And then luckily we have a very short period of time because against all odds is a week from Friday.
Oh, wow.
So
yeah,
like it's one of those, we have those once or twice a year where it's just like, it's a 2-week build between PLEs. So You can bet to have a little bit of an answer for Against All Odds, where the TNA title is going to kind of rest. And then just like AEW is going to All In, we're building a Slammiversary. So then we're going to see really where this whole story goes. So it'll be a very interesting time to watch TNA wrestling the next 6 to 8 weeks.
Yeah, that is for certain. I'm looking forward to it though. It should be fun. Should be fun. And good for NXT as well, because I also got introduced in that Battleground pay-per-view, Miles Bourne. I thought that was a really good match.
That was a good show in general.
Yeah. Jordan Grace, threw down with Stephanie Vaquer, who continues to just be incredible. So yeah, it was awesome to watch. But yeah. Fun times ahead.
It's going to be wild. Yes, sure. Very much. So, but unprecedented territory, folks. So make sure you watch a little bit of TNA Impact and make sure you watch a little more Rebooked. All right. You see those little things? Those aren't just beautiful icons. No, those are hearts. Those are bells. Those are subscribe buttons. So smash the shit out of them.
That's right.
And let us know and leave us a comment down below. Who do you think dethrones Trick William and brings the title home? Your best guess is me, even if it's just a hopeful guess, like I hope it's Trey Miguel. I don't know, maybe you love him.
Let us
Something
know.
Like that. Let us know. We want to know.
It's your only time to do it, because this is the last TNA Weekly episode that
right.
we're doing. So you want to get your TNA thoughts out there now, but don't worry, because we're still going to do more TNA. It's just going to be in our mega show that we'll be releasing on Wednesday. But we will make sure we always have a TNA topic on there. But yeah, so just, get in there now. Sorry, didn't mean to cut you off.
No, drop it down below before next Wednesday. But anyway, enough of our nonsense. Watch TNA, watch all our other episodes, subscribe, and all that good stuff down below. And we will see you next week on our mega show. Take care, everybody.